Ladies and gentlemen, an 11-second snippet of the Tomb gameplay has dropped. Let's quickly check it out here. We got obviously some new zombie models. Obviously, they kind of look like something out of Chaos. Amalgams, Mimics, and the Ice Staff. Now, one thing I will say before I obviously get into my own opinions is I do love the new animations of the Ice Staff. They look really good, but we'll talk about some of the things obviously that I'm not too excited about. And Charlie Intel here has some photos of how the map looks like. I really love a lot of the chaos look of it, and honestly, I don't think my issue with this map is the aesthetics, because I actually think this might be the most beautiful Black Ops 6 Zombies map so far. I mean, it really doesn't even look like a Black Ops 6 Zombies map. Like I've said, it looks something more straight out of Chaos. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of these like red portals, red glowing sigils that you saw in Call of Duty Vanguard. And it's nice because the Treyarch has even announced that the Tomb's main quest goes live at 9 a.m. So they actually are giving us an official time, which is amazing. Something I love that Codename Pizza tweeted out is he said that the Easter egg reward you get once you beat it is a green crystal for the Ice Staff. Now, I know now maybe that's not as exciting, but back in the day with Origins, hearing something like this would have been really cool. And I am going to be doing a separate video on my second channel talking about the comments for this map, because here are a lot of the quote-unquote new features. And again, we'll talk about this, but the Staff of Ice Wonder Weapon is coming back, which is, I mean, it's pretty cool to see a Ice Staff coming back. The Death Perception perk, I know a lot of people are getting a little bit upset about that just because it's Death Perception, and with 2 zombie maps remaining for Black Ops 6, we might only be getting Mule Kick and then obviously Tombstone. And so I will say, though, the Pack Punch camo looks pretty cool. It's just like an Origins Pack camo, looks pretty nice. The Shock Mimic, apparently he even shocks your HUD and like jumbles up the HUD. I definitely am not a fan of that. It reminds me of Exo Zombies with the EMZs. I'm not a fan of that. The War Machine, though, again, probably one of the best kill streaks from Cold War coming back, which is pretty cool. And then, obviously, the other stuff that they talked about being the co-op pause, the challenge tracking, the new main quest, which is just obvious, and 3 new Gobblegums. And so, because everybody was complaining in my last video, I'm just going to talk about the entirety of the whole launch article that Call of Duty has, because people get upset when I don't read literally every single word for some reason. So, Cursed Catacombs guard a gateway to the Dark Ether. Fall into the footsteps of a doomed explorer as you search for the fabled Sentinel artifact. Obviously, this is what we know from Citadel. Keep all threats in sight with the addition of the Death Perception perk, including new augments to research further to enhance its abilities, plus chew on 3 new Gobblegums and wield the mighty War Machine, okay? The new enemy type, face off against the electrifying shock mimic with wield the deadly Staff of Ice. Utilize a new type of player-controlled hazard with etheric lanterns. Okay, that sounds a little bit interesting. And pierce your enemies with the arrow trap. Okay, yeah, I didn't really use a lot of the traps back in Citadel, so I'm hoping that they're kind of a little bit more interesting with this map. New quality of life updates, quad pause, challenge tracking, the HUD presets. Yeah, we talked about this. So following the events at Citadel, Weaver, Maya, Carver, and Gray must take the amulet secured at the Citadel to a cursed dig site in the ancient catacombs. Professor Kraft indicated that the elusive Sentinel artifact may be found in the tunnels. Reports of paranormal phenomena go back centuries, possibly related to the presence of the artifact. If the team can secure it, there may be a hope in releasing Samantha Maxis from her imprisonment. So, yeah, she's probably going to be coming out soon. It is kind of interesting that Richtofen still has not made, like, much of an introduction in this map. I like that they're building up at least the lore behind him, but it is kind of wild that like that was the big illusion for Cold War, and still we are on DLC 2 now, and this is the shortest amount of time that a DLC has been released, and in my opinion we still know nothing about Richtofen's inclusion. So I mean, the gameplay looks really beautiful. I will say, like, the obvious beautiful part about this map is the environment. Like, I do think I am a little bit just numb to a lot of the reused assets, and that's why I don't think I am excited as much for this map as I am for Citadel, but I will say the map itself does look very beautiful. So in this enthralling new adventure, follow in the footsteps of doomed explorer and explore a long-forgotten site. And then obviously this is coming January 28th, and like I said, this is the fastest it's ever come. out for a new zombies map. A shiny happening to the lucky blighter who finds that first door. So here we have our crew. Obviously, this is just pretty much exactly what we saw from Citadel. You'll need all the guidance you can to navigate the dark and dusty passages. Aiding you on this adventure is Sam, Ravenon, Pack, yep, and Raptor 1. Increasingly erratic Strauss. They put that in because everybody was freaking dogging on him in the last map because he was like, I don't know, not really doing too much. Adding to the oddities are reports of audible anomalies in the form of echoes of a former British explorer. So yeah, Sir Archibald, I'm assuming this is kind of going to be like very similar to like an Alistair Rhodes type character, but obviously not. It's going to be its own thing. Bolster your knowledge of all the main locations, and this is obviously what we've shown before. It looks pretty nice. The surface level dig site is your entryway to the rest of the map, so that's our spawn. That's pretty cool. Strange glowing runes mark certain alcoves, perhaps gateways to the subterranean regions beyond. A large, partially uncovered stone face lies at the pit of the site, roped off and long forgotten a nearby fallen pillar. Scale the stairs and scaffolding and further explore the area. Don't linger too long, lest you end up like the headless statue on the upper tiers of the archaeological area. They'd be saying, lest we forget, brother. Exploring the Neolithic catacombs, you may notice how far back the area goes, both physically as well as through the layers of ancient cultures and civilizations. I think that is what I'm going to be more interested to seeing, because it seems like it's going to be a lot of chaos sort of influence on this map. Cave paintings adorn the cavernous walls, while winding pathways lead through the natural hollows of the earth. In the ossuary, stacked with the skulls of the long dead, the cavern gives way to the stone architecture of a later age. It's bone piles and altars lending an ominous presence throughout. So again, not too bad. And then there obviously is Death Perception returning from Black Ops Cold War. Statues of ancient warriors line the tubes. Yep. Though the vault has long crumbled into disarray, the remnants of pristine architecture on clear display, illuminated through the patch of sunlight falling through a crumbled hole in the ceiling. So I think, like I said, like the map layout will be something to be like talking about. I think obviously even just with the screenshots, there's definitely something new. It looks beautiful. I just think it's mainly like the gameplay mechanics of this map that are something that I'm not really excited for. You know, they're talking about candlelit vaulted ceilings marking the resting places of important figures, a frieze sculpted into the wall showing a fierce battle between opposing forces. So obviously, it seems kind of nice. And then here it talks about the arrow trap installation, lines the stairway down into the shrine. I see. So it's literally this little tiny shot with the arrow trap. That kind of literally looks like a wall weapon buy, but that's the arrow trap. And so here, this to me just screams Frozen Dawn from World War II Zombies. If you guys played that map, it literally almost looks one-to-one. Descend into the catacombs to reveal the huge cavernous subterranean temple, where the stone architecture leads downward to a rocky outcropping peninsula known as the Deep Excavation. Scattered pillars encircle a place of worship below. That just sounds like Frozen Dawn right there. The murky depths illuminated via faint shafts of what appears to be sunlight entering from a natural space. So, like I said, the map's going to look good. It's going to probably even play great. I just think it's just a lot of the gameplay mechanics in this that are going to be interesting. And then this is probably the area with a lot of the Easter eggs. And so they have it all excavated off or blocked off. Take your excavation deeper into the doorway to nowhere. So kind of like they're pulling an MW3 Zombies here. And then here, this is the thing I think a lot of people were upset about. Often disguising themselves as useful items, these shocking creatures breaking out of the illusion on approach, grabbing victims with their tentacles and razor-sharp claws, pulling them in for an electrifying bite. This hits you harder than expected, and the distortion camouflage the shock mimic emits disrupts your radar. So it basically disrupts your HUD, and they hide, which is, like, honestly even more annoying than the ones in Firebase Z. And that's why, like, I don't think a lot of people are really excited about this, including myself. Like I said, I just don't understand why they're bringing back reused enemies over and over and over again. And I still see people talking about, oh, well, they use reused assets in World at War. But it's like, I mean, yeah, but it's like we've seen the Mimic now like 5-6 times, right? Like it's getting a little much. You know what I'm saying? The inhabitants of the tomb represent a swath of laborers, worshippers, and armored guards from eons past, heavily rotted, some mummified, and many with a more skeletal appearance. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I really do like the way at least the zombies look in this. They look very chaos. Like, literally, these zombies right here look straight out of Ancient Evil. Alongside the familiar enemies you're bound to encounter throughout, these ancient undead reveal the importance of the site, but what they were digging up and perhaps more ominously, who or what they came to worship, remains to be discovered. So I'm assuming we're going to see a lot of Vanguard tie-ins with this map, because Vanguard really talked about like these ancient gods, and so I'm assuming that that is going to be the big thing that they bring into here. The new wonder weapon, the Staff of Ice, new. This masterpiece of ancient technology fires a withering blast of frost and can generate healing energies to resuscitate allies from a distance. So I'm curious if that's going to be the back of the staff, like the original version of Origins. Origins unknown. That's wild. And yeah, I think the one thing that I think a lot of people will probably also not be too happy about is I don't think you're going to be able to charge this up. Maybe if you're able to pack punch this, you will be. But yeah, just getting the base Staff of Ice is going to be interesting, as well as like you're going to probably be able to upgrade it 3 times, just like any other wonder weapon in this game. So not sure how that's going to be. Maybe if like one upgrade gives you the Sekhmet's Vigor on the back, and then the second or third upgrade gives you the charge shot. I mean, that could be kind of interesting. And then here it's talking about this archaic wonder weapon is also imbued with the power to revive teammates with a precision shot, restorative blast. So yeah, it's kind of like the back of the staff here. This offers an exceptional blast that can slow and freeze enemies, as well as a more devastating area of effect attack. Okay, so it does seem like you are able to charge this somehow, so that'll be interesting. And like I said, I mean, these zombies look sick. This is a really cool looking map. I will give it that. Like, I think the map looks great. I think the zombies look great. But it's just a lot of these returning mechanics don't really excite me a lot. The main quest for the tomb goes live when the map releases. So that is going to be interesting. I think that's just a better idea, because sometimes I feel like people can just get a little tiny bit bored. So I'm pretty excited about that, just to be able to instantly hop in and just instantly go through the egg. And I have a feeling this egg is going to be solved a lot faster than even Citadel or Terminus. The time to complete, I think, is about like 4.5 hours, 5 hours. So that is probably going to be a lot shorter, is my guess with this map. So yeah, Project Janus has a new Staff of Ice as well, 5,000 XP, and a new calling card. And then also the directed mode is going to be releasing for the tomb. Honestly, like, it is interesting to see that Treyarch has announced that the directed mode does actually affect how many players completed Terminus, at least. I think they said it went from like 3% to 8%, which is, I mean, that's a pretty big jump. But also, I mean, it's not a lot as well. Because, again, it's talking about every single player in all of Black Ops 6. And then, so here we have the arrow trap. Get a horde of zombies on your back. Activate the arrow trap to send out darts for damaging energy. I like that it's not just like arrows. It's kind of like some dark ether energy. That looks pretty cool. If you need to backtrack, run and slide to avoid getting shot. So yeah, it's just basically like your standard arrow trap. Brother's got a safety vest on. How is that possible? And yeah, I mean, the map itself definitely looks like a combination of like Origins, Ancient Evil, Frozen Dawn, and even like some MW3 zombies in here. And then I think these are the etheric lanterns they're talking about. Dark ether chandeliers and light sources give off a pale glow over their surroundings. With the correct projectile and aiming confidence, you can use these dynamic hazards to rain down etheric fire. Okay, so it's kind of going to be like the eye traps from Citadel, but it's going to be kind of, I guess, something to do with like lighting and also more ether damage. And more dig deeper into the lore of the ancient site with intel in the form of audio logs. Yeah, we've seen that before. New gameplay content, access to following content within the tomb as well as on Citadel. Additional Perca-Cola, Death Perception. Now, this is, I think, where it's just a little bit sad. So many people have been asking for double tap, and it just feels like it's never going to come out with this game. I know they've said before they probably can't even like get it to really work with the system of the game, but I don't know. I just think it's... Death Perception is just kind of sad, because it's like it could have even been a whole new perk. You know, it doesn't really have to be Death Perception. Death Perception gives players the ability to detect enemies through obstacles and walls. Yep, we know that, plus new abilities. When navigating the tight confines of the tomb, there's no better perk for anticipating the danger. So I think, yeah, for this map, for a close quarter map, even though it doesn't really look close quarter, I think it'll be all right. Death Perception is available within the tomb along with 9 previously accessible perks. Note that some of these perks are only available via the Wonder Fizz, and yeah, that's obviously going to be the way it is for pretty much every single other map. So let's check the augments here. Treasure Hunter, spot items others can miss from loot containers, as well as special and elite kills. I wonder how that's going to work. Like, is it going to be like when the elites drop, they just give you more stuff, I guess? Your elemental weakness damage has a chance to kill an enemy that is low on health. That's a weird one. Like, are these are the major augments as well? What? That is, I just feel like that is just kind of weak. Small chance that a body shot becomes a crit shot. Okay, I mean, that could be pretty good for like early game, but I don't know. A lot of these major augments, I don't even know what would be better. I guess Treasure Hunter sounds the best. And then minor augments, the Bird Eyes View, the mini map scan rate is increased. I don't even have the mini map on when I play this game. Find extra essence under more locations. I guess. I don't know how, like, I guess that's kind of like their compromise for building barriers and then increase the perception radius. Honestly, I think your best two is going to be Treasure Hunter here and then further insight. Honestly, a lot of these augments are kind of weak. Like, I don't know. I don't know why you'd even want to run half of these. Chew on 3 new Gobblegums, all available. It's cool that they're adding Quacknarok. That is probably one of my favorites. Dead Drop and Modified Chaos. So, okay, let's see what these do. Modified Chaos greatly reduces all ammo mod cooldowns. So, I guess that's all right. I don't know. I feel like ammo mods don't really have much of a use in Black Ops 6. Like, most of the strategies you're using are kill streaks and also the wonder weapons. So, I feel like that's not really going to be used that often. Dead drop rates of salvaged equipment are greatly increased. Okay, this sounds like a broken Gobblegum. This sounds like the actual legendary Gobblegum. Why is this one epic? What the heck? I don't even understand by that. I don't really get the rarity tiers for Gobblegums in this game. So at least Dead Drop sounds really good for early game. That's definitely probably even going to change a lot of the speedrun times for a lot of the early game, or for a lot of the older Call of Duty Zombies maps. The War Machine. Is that the War Machine? That looks really different. No way. Give the undead, so it's 2,500 salvage. Give an undead explosive taste of their own entrails with a semi-automatic War Machine. Okay. That does not look like the War Machine. It just looks like an AR. That is so weird. The Tomb Directed mode for the explorers who need an extra hand in completing the main quest. Stay tuned for the Rival Directed mode coming in mid-season. So that'll probably be mid-February. That's all right. And then here we have the quality of life updates with the co-op pause, AFK, and that is about it. So honestly, like, basically, my thoughts for the Tomb are essentially this. I just think I'm falling out of love with zombies. I think I'm obviously a little bit more excited for GTA 6 than anything with zombies. I think I still will be excited for the BO2 sequel. But I will be doing a video where I talk about the comments about all of the Tomb here, because I'm definitely very interested into reading them and just giving my thoughts about everything. But so far, I guess I would say I'm like 3, 4, 5 out of 10 excited for the Tomb.